All right, time tonight for our other news segment. And New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Kami Marxist Mamdani is set to meet with President Trump at the White House tomorrow. Wouldn't you love to be a fly on the wall? And his far-left supporters are not too happy about Mamdani's change in tune. Take a look.
My administration would be Donald Trump's worst nightmare. I have many disagreements with the president, and I believe that we should be relentless and pursue all avenues and all meetings that could make our city affordable for every single New Yorker. I intend to make it clear to President Trump that I will work with him on any agenda that benefits New Yorkers.
All right, here with Reaction founder and CEO of Conservator, podcaster Jamie Franklin. All right, how do you go from, I'll be his worst nightmare, oh, I want to work with him. Oh, that's a change of tune.
I think he knows he needs the federal funds for New York City. And look, this is what we love about President Trump. He is willing truly to work with anyone. He doesn't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. He'll bring you in because he's working on behalf of the American people to make America great again. And I'm not surprised that his supporters are not happy about this because, you know, there was a lot of things that led to the election of Zohran. But I think something that hasn't been talked about enough is that Zohran really gathered a group of particularly young people who are very nihilistic and negative about the future of our country, which is why they voted in this communists to burn the whole system down. And Sean, I'm a big believer that politics is downstream from culture, and there is a lot of work to be done, particularly with young people with the culture in these cities. And I think as conservatives, we need to bring people back to church. We need to bring back love of country, family formation, especially for young women who voted over 80% for Zohran Mamdani. And I think if we're able to work on the culture, we'll have no more Zohran Mamdanis in the future, hopefully.
What about his recent endorsement of the city council person that's running for city council, a person that minimized the deaths on 9/11/01, 2,977 that day, many others from 9/11 related sickness and illness, and suggested America could be responsible for what happened that day and we were innocent?
It's truly despicable. And New York is America's greatest city. And it breaks my heart every day that voters really went to the polls and voted for this person who obviously hates America. I think he does hate New York City at the end of the day. And I will never forget, he came in and about 2 years after he moved into New York City, he was giving a middle finger to Christopher Columbus. So I'm like, why are you in this country? And why, if you obviously dislike us and the values, I don't think he likes the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, or anything that we stand for as a nation.
Nancy Pelosi is ending her lifelong career in Congress by taking her nasty remarks to, well, the next level. A recent interview, Anderson Cooper asking Pelosi about a recent criticism of Donald Trump, and she doubled down as the two are laughing and giggling like Kamala. Take a look.
One of the things you said recently in an interview, you said that President Trump was a vile creature, the worst thing on the face of the earth. Do you think he's different now than he was in his first term in terms of his abilities, his leadership?
By the way, I said that as a euphemism. I could have done much worse.
You could have done worse. You could have said worse.
Yeah.
And House Democrat Al Green is at least being honest about the Democrats' one and only goal, impeaching Trump. The Texas Democrat vowing to introduce new articles of impeachment before the end of the year. What a shocker. Reaction.
Yeah, I think that this is all Democrats have left, to be quite honest, this toxic partisanship, because President Trump is truly ushering in the golden age of America. He's shutting down the border. He's deporting illegal criminal migrants. He's removing inflation from our economy. He's negotiating historic peace deals, and he's getting men out of women's sports. And it's truly fantastic to see what he's doing. So it's sad that Democrats have resorted to these measures.
All right, Jamie, thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.